going to be a tough one that hopefully he can overcome. We'll have to find out from Coach Mason in just a moment what he's looking at. But I think I'm intrigued by Marcus Sayles and Teagan Campbell both practicing this week. They actually haven't played together since September the 6th in the Labor Day rematch. So getting both cornerbacks would be huge. Keyshawn Johnson and Dante Myers, the 2,000-yard receivers for the Riders, didn't practice this week. But Trevon Tate, who was injured way back in July and started at offensive left tackle, has been back on the field this week. So very, very interesting on how it's looking. And I did catch up with Coach Mace and ask him because he wanted to make sure that the trajectory was right when it came to making sure that everything was in step this week to getting players back onto the field for the West Final, and asked him if everything was going according to plan. And here's what he said.
All right. Of course, that was your injury report for the Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association. So now why don't we talk about the starting lineup, which is brought to you by Athol Murray College of Notre Dame. Greatness begins with character. Discover excellence in academics, athletics, and leadership. Join the tradition. Apply today. NotreDame.ca.
Well, of course, Greg Peterson and Mark Steven and Jock Wilson, they're all in Vancouver getting set for this game today. We will hear a first-hand account of what you can get from those depth charts between BC and Calgary. Of note, though, Gary Peters, who was a game-time decision for the secondary and the BC Lions last week, is of the same status here this week against the Stampeders at home. So we're going to have to wait and see that. As far as Calgary goes, it looks like a full complement of receivers are set to go, of course, except for Begelton, who's been out all season long. But aside from that, it looks like both teams are relatively healthy when you consider we've played 21 weeks of regular season football going into today's West Semi-Final.
And of course, that was your starting lineup for Athol Murray College of Notre Dame. And this is Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. All right, coming up next on Countdown to Kickoff, I think it's time to go deep with Jeff Fairholm, so I'll have him on the other side of the break. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Hi, I'm Fraser Tolmie, your Member of Parliament for Moose Jaw Lake Centre Lanigan. Saskatchewan is my home, and representing our province in Ottawa is my top priority. That's why I'm working hard to bring home lower prices for you and your family, standing up for our farmers, and so much more. Canadian football is such an important part of our over 60 communities I serve in Ottawa and brings so many different people together in a positive way. Let's unite and bring it home for Saskatchewan.
Hi everyone, Sean here with Young's Equipment, your MacDon header headquarters in southern Saskatchewan. New or used, red, green, or yellow, whatever drives your farm, Young's Equipment has the MacDon header to lead the way. With MacDon's industry-leading Flex Draper technology, an FD Series header ensures your smoothest and most productive harvest yet. No matter your color, Young's has your header. Young's Equipment, leading the way in a thriving agricultural community.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till November 5th, save big on the quality and power you know and love from Maytag and Whirlpool. Get a Maytag 5.5 cubic foot Pet Pro top load washer with 7 cubic foot top load dryer for just $16.99. Or get the Whirlpool 5.5 cubic foot IEC top load washer with removable agitator and 7 cubic foot dryer for just $14.99. Matt's Furniture at Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
This football season, Positively Perfect Pets is ready for a touchdown of the best pet food in town, offering a fantastic selection of healthy food and treats. Dan from Paws Purr is your quarterback for your pet's food decisions and everything else for your furry friends. The customer service will always go long for anything you need, setting their team apart from the box stores. Score big points with your pets at Positively Perfect Pets, 4637 Ray Street. Visit their Facebook page and onestopdogshop.com.
Let's be honest, 5 inches might be fine for the city boys, But out here on the farm, you need something a little more impressive. Prairie 6-inch eaves troughs are built bigger to handle heavy rains, wide roofs, and serious flow. No overflowing, no messing around, just 6 solid inches of high-performance gutter. Because when the skies open up, you'll be glad you went bigger. See Prairie 6-inch eaves trough, your farm shop specialist, prairieeavestrough.ca.
Milligan Bio has a need for seed, and they want your heated and damaged canola today. Milligan Bio, a locally owned Canadian company based in Foam Lake, has space available for your canola and is accepting immediate delivery. Get that damaged canola out of your bins and put the cash in your pocket. Call Milligan Bio now at 272-6284. That's 272-6284 to arrange your delivery or on-farm pickup. MilliganBio.com.
Fall is here and winter's right behind it. Is your vehicle ready for cold weather travel? At Landry's Napa Auto Pro, we make sure your car is prepared for everything this season throws your way. From battery checks to winter tires, oil changes to heating systems, we'll keep you safe, warm, and on the road. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your fall maintenance today. Visit Landry's Napa Auto Pro, your trusted team for expert care all season long. Visit us on 180 Winnipeg Street North.
Proud to tailgate with all of Rider Nation. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Well, I'm Teagan Witko, joined alongside Justin Dunk, Wes Cates, and Dave Thomas as the BC Lions take on the Calgary Stampeders. Stakes are high, history is heavy, and a trip to the West Final against the Saskatchewan Roughriders is on the line. Right now, we are going deep with Jeff Fairholm, brought to you by Zipperlock Building Company and Powerlift Doors. See them in Raymore or call 1-888-692-5515. Well, thank you for joining us, Jeff. Of course, the Riders will face either the Stamps or the Lions in the Western Final next week. Jeff, as you look at these two teams, what matchup do you think poses a bigger challenge for the Riders?
I think that's pretty easy. Considering we didn't beat Calgary this year, I think they pose a bigger problem for us. Must have something to do with matchups. Their D line was getting a lot of pressure on Harris, albeit earlier in the year too. So, I think Calgary probably poses a matchup problem for us. Therefore, I'm hoping and I'm glad that BC won last week. It sounds odd to say that, but I'm glad BC won so that they're hosting, and I hope to meet BC next week.
Jeff, in terms of the Riders, how can Saskatchewan use that extra week to its best benefit going into the West Final?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I've said several times, I've never been in a position where I had to buy during the playoffs. But, I think it's a matter of just getting healthy, which they've done. They used the last 2 games to rest some players. They're using this bye week to rest some players, get in the film room, really start to prepare. I mean, I'm sure the coaches are preparing for both teams at this point. And then tomorrow or tonight or whatever, they'll start to really prepare for the team that they're going to play. The good thing is there's not that many teams in the CFL, so you know each other pretty well at this point in the season. So it's just a matter of figuring out who they're going to play or play on our team. Because we have so many healthy bodies now. I think, Coach Mason and the staff has done a great job in getting everybody healthy for this run. And, now the decision is going to be who do they put on the roster and who are they going to play, because we've got a lot of healthy bodies and a lot of good players that have, shown that they can play in the CFL and, have really stood out throughout the year. So it's going to be really interesting to me to see, next week who's healthy. I think everybody is, but who's healthy, and then see the depth chart when it comes out next week to see, who are we going to play. And I think Trevor Harris on offense is going to have a lot to say about that.
That leads me perfectly into my next question for you, Jeff. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. If you had to pick the starting 5 receivers for the West Final, there's lots of options, American and Canadian, for the Riders. Who are you taking?
Yeah, that's tough. If Emilus and Myers are healthy, Emilus, Myers, and Johnson, they have to play. Schaefer Baker has shown, and I love that about the last game. He really showed last week. They ramped him up last week, so I think Schaefer Baker has to play. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4? I mean, it's tough. I mean, you got Sean Dane Jr. who's back. You've got Bastelli. I don't know if he's healthy, but if he's healthy, he's played well. And then you got Niels and Picton. I mean, my goodness, it's tough. So to answer your question, ratio be damned. I think you've got to play. Considering everybody's healthy, you've got to play Schaefer Baker, Johnson, Myers, who am I missing?
Emilus.
Oh, Emilus, of course. And then,
you got one more.
So then your next one, who's your one more? I would put Nield in there. And, depending on where they're all going to play. Nield has played great. He's been sort of an unsung hero. So I think I would put Nield in there. That would be my starting 5.
So, Jeff, was there anything that you kind of, I guess, revisited or prepared for or honed in on going into the playoffs? And also, do you think there's anything that this Riders team should be focusing in this week and going into their Western Final game that you would say maybe they need a little more work at or just need to focus on as something to improve on before this matchup?
I think it's just a matter of, eliminating the mistakes. That just as well as I do, Wes, that come the playoffs, things get ramped up a little bit. The speed's a bit faster. So anybody that has not played in the playoffs, they need to really start listening to the veterans who have played in the playoffs before and really try to understand that, the speed does get ramped up. It sounds weird, but it really does. Mistakes really start to get amplified as well. So going back to last week and that first play of the game, we can't have those types of mistakes where, we can't spot a team 7 points and expect to come back from it like we did last week. We've got to start fast. You've got to really hold the penalties down, especially the misconduct penalties. You've got to play clean football because everybody is, the stakes are that much higher. And when something bad happens, you need to respond and you need to be resilient right away. Like when, we allowed that one touchdown last week early on the first play, we were able to come back on offense and really drive the ball down their throats and score a touchdown. That's the type of resilience we have to have. And you just need to be sharp. You want to come into a playoff game being sharp, and you want to have good practices. The hay's in the barn, as we used to say. I mean, there's nothing you can throw in there. There might be a play or two that you're going to throw in, maybe a blitz or something that you haven't shown. But you've played each other so many times, and it really comes down to execution, turnovers, and penalties. And those, it sounds simple, but that's football. And you can't have players like I saw last week where they're coming in on a tackle and trying to body check somebody. You just can't do that. You've got to wrap up. You've got to go back to basics, and you've got to be just super clean in your game.
Jeff Fairholm, did you ever have a tell or face an opponent that had a tell? Because this week the Rough Riders have done a ton of self-scouting. And one of the things Luke Mullender pointed out to me, there were certain the offensive linemen in his career that he was able to spot different tendencies to exploit pre-snap. Anything like that stand out in your career?
Absolutely. By the way, what the heck is talking? Is that Dave Thomas? He's on our show? What's going on here?
I'm getting kicked out by Fairholm. Awesome.
Nice to hear your voice, Dave. There's always tells, and that's what I meant by being in the film room. And you've got two teams that you're sort of looking at. You really don't have to look at that many players because you know who you're going to be playing against, and you've had a chance to play against them 2-3 times. And yeah, there's always tells, and they're looking at you, you're looking at them. The good news is you've got 2 weeks to prepare. So yeah, there's always tells, and you ask your scout team to do that type of thing. So you get an idea. You show the scout team, hey, when we're in this type of situation, kind of do this for me so they get a look. And it's about the scout team and the guys that are playing, the other side to help you out. And so that you can see it on the film, because you can only do so much film work. But there's always tells, there's the way you line up, the way you motion, the way you look at each other. There's always something that gives you something. And I always found that, the halfbacks who I normally played against, the defensive halfbacks, they always gave me something. If they're looking, as an example, if they're looking straight at me, I know it's going to be man coverage. If they're sort of looking around and looking at the quarterback, I can tell it's zone coverage. I can't tell what zone coverage it is, but then you look around, and of course your read as a slot back is usually the middle linebacker and the free safety, and you know what you sort of know what to do, because there are a lot of adjustments that go on during the game, and it's up to you to make the right adjustments so that the quarterback hopefully does too, and you get a chance to make a big play.
There were some major award winners announced this week, Jeff, and all-stars. From the Riders' perspective, do you think that there was anyone that was missed on, or do you think they were gotten right in terms of Jamarcus Hardrick being the West Division nominee for Most Outstanding Offensive Lineman, Corey Mace being the West Division nominee for the Coach of the Year award? I think those are the two main ones, but is there anything that you feel like people missed with Saskatchewan in terms of the individual awards and all-stars?
Yeah, I almost wish that they would make some, have some honorable mentions, because it was probably a tough choice for the offensive lineman, because Ferland has had such a great year. So I would certainly like to mention his name. That offensive line, doesn't go unless he's calling the plays and is really the quarterback of the offensive line. So, yeah, I think, it's hard to say Hardrick or Ferland. I think it could have gone either way, and I don't think Hardrick was a unanimous choice. So it probably, Ferland probably got a bunch of votes. I think Collins has had a fantastic. It's Collins, right? Yeah, he got the Rookie of the Year. So I think he had a fantastic year, and you got to give props to the offensive line coach and getting these guys ready. So you got three guys on the offensive line that really played well this year. I think Thurman. I think you could have thrown Thurman in there for the Western nominee. He's just sort of an unsung hero that does his job, and it's he doesn't get the stats, if you will, that a defensive lineman would with sacks and things like that. But Thurman has just been amazing. So, I think they got it pretty right. I don't like to, I was glad to see our receivers get some nominations as well. It was just it's good. I think it's tough. It's tough on the people that have to vote, and it's a bit of a who do I like best, as a person as well. But I think for the most part they got it right.
Of course,
I will say I did vote for Logan Ferland as the CFL All-Star Center, so I think he'll get that recognition, just canvassing some people around the league. Sorry, Teagan.
No, all good. Of course, Jeff Fairholm's going to give a shout out to the big boys up front, right? Former receiver.
You have to. You have to. Maybe not as much as Wes does, but you have to.
Awesome. Well, Jeff Fairholm, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the game this afternoon, assuming you're going to be watching it before the Jays play.
Well, I got to watch. Yeah, I might turn it off by 6:10, but yeah, I'm at 6:10 my time. But yeah, it's fun. I'm not really. It's fun being able to watch these games without a whole bunch of anxiety, and relax and wait and see who we play, and then we can start to look at it. But I love this time of year. This is a lot of fun. It's a little early. It's going to be 14 degrees here in Calgary, which is really odd for November. But sooner or later we'll get some playoff football, and hopefully we can get the right team to play against next week.
Absolutely. October, best time to be a sports fan.
Schnooking in Calgary. That's what it is.
I guess
right.
It's November now, too. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jeff Fairholm. I guess we will chat with you next week ahead of the West Final here in Regina.
Look forward to it, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Cheers. Of course, it is semi-final Saturday across the CFL, and just a quick little update here. Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Montreal, and the Alouettes right now up 17-0. So we'll keep you updated on that throughout the afternoon as we get you closer and closer to this West semi-final kickoff, 3:30 Saskatchewan time. But why don't we dive right into the three keys to the game here, gentlemen? It is brought to you by KFC. Get the Rough Rider Game Day special, $4.95 for a Big Crunch, $7.95 for a Big Crunch combo at participating Saskatchewan KFC locations.
Well, how about we jump right in? First, for Calgary Stampeders, number one, they've got to commit to the Mills, because the Mills factor is huge. 1,400 yards rushing, led the CFL in rushing yardage, but for whatever reason, sometimes Calgary starts to stray away and go into the quick passing game as opposed to punishing the rock. I know this is music to your ears, Wes, but I think you got to stay with Dedrick Mills the entire way and can't stray away from him. Number 2, don't let Nathan Rourke make the secondary a primary concern. The Calgary Stampeders secondary, although they've played together an entire season, is still young and still developing. At times, they seem to get communication and have those errors that creep up into their game. So the more you allow Nathan Rourke to have time to throw the football downfield, the more that he is going to be a factor. And finally, big play VA has got to be big play, but for all the right reasons. He has to be patient and can't turn over the ball. Sometimes I think he tries to force it, and that comes back to bite the Stampeders. And I know, Wes, you were all over those keys because I didn't mention your man, James Butler, right?
Yeah, well, James Butler's been a problem for every defense, right? So if you're looking at it from a BC Lions standpoint, I think a lot of those keys are exactly the same, right? James Butler's been a problem in the run and the pass game, and much like Dedrick Mills, like they're really hard to contain either way. So definitely Nathan Rourke is a problem. So I think Calgary Stampeders definitely have their hands full with both of their backfield opponents being able to kind of hurt you multiple ways, and then obviously their defense. I would think Calgary would try to maybe attack Peters a little early, maybe run a couple outside runs his way to see if he's as healthy as they want him to be, and then maybe attack him in the air a couple of times as well. So yeah, those keys are relevant and applicable to both sides of the ball, or both teams.
Well, that was your 3 keys to the game, brought to you by KFC. Still plenty on the way as we inch closer and closer to that 3:30 kickoff coming up next on our condensed countdown to kickoff here today in Rough Rider history with Rider historian and senior journalist Rob Vanstone. We'll see if the roof is open at BC Place this afternoon for the Western Semi-Final, and plenty more to come. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Farm equipment is a huge investment, and when it's time to sell, you deserve a high return on your investment. Hi, I'm Terry from Zipperlock Building Company. At Zipperlock, our buildings have a distinct steel arch design that protects your equipment from the sun, rain, snow, and wind. Protection from the elements means protecting your investment. In other words, a Zipperlock building saves you money. Zipperlock Building Company, built in hours to last a lifetime. See us in Raymore or call 1-888-692-5515.
The care your family receives in hospitals, schools, and community programs comes from SEIU West members who live in your community. We're united around something simple. When working people have what they need to do their jobs well, everyone benefits. Our conditions of work are your conditions of care. For more information, visit seiuwest.ca.
Howdy, y'all. It's Wood Country Woody again. Well, looks like new home prices are still higher than a giraffe on an extension ladder. But a custom and RTM home from Wood Country gives you what you're looking for at a price that's down to earth. They draft your home for your right in store. Then they custom build your home right on your site. Literally thousands less for a home you actually want. See Wood Country today.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Wood-country.com.
Two big sales this week at 2S Auctioneers in Indian Head. Monday is a big collector auction featuring a major train collection, HO and N scale. Many new old stock parts, new old stock engines and cars. Then on Tuesday is the closeout for Dave's Automotive, formerly of Vibank. Tire changer, generators, bolt bins, parts cabinets of all descriptions. Easy to register, easy to bid, and you can come have a look at 2S Auctioneers in Indian Head. 2sauctioneers.ca, online auction house.
No way! You're Bruiser McTackle, my favorite football player!
That's right, kid. I'm going door to door talking about SaskTel's fastest internet and smoking deals on the latest phones at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Hey, did somebody say fast internet? Beetlejuice? You need fast internet and a new phone?
I need fiber and fiber optic.
This is the best fall ever!
Visit Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today. Fall means pumpkin spice, falling leaves, and slippery roads. When the temperature drops, so does your tire's grip. Enter Quality Tire. Don't wait for that first icy morning to find out you need new tires. Quality Tire will get you into the right set for the season so you can stop quicker, handle better, and keep smiling all season long. Stay ahead of the frost with Quality Tire. Trusted for the road ahead with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca.
It's never too early to get into the Christmas spirit, and it's always the right time to give back to families in our community. Ashdowns believes in giving back to our community, and this Christmas, they're collecting toys, books, and games for Moose Jaw's Family Services to help spread joy where it's needed most. Bring in a new unwrapped gift to Santa's Workshop. That's Ashdowns, and share the magic of giving this season. And when you give, you get 30% off your purchase, excluding appliances, until November 30th, plus a chance to win your purchase back with Christmas cashback. Only at Ashdowns Furniture and Interiors, downtown Moose Jaw.
It's game time at Two Way Service, your Ford dealer in Southie. Just 30 money-saving minutes north of Regina on Highway 6. Two-Way Service is a first-round draft pick, delivering championship deals all season long. Score big with any vehicle purchase, and they'll throw in a free trip for two to Las Vegas. That's right, Vegas, baby. So suit up and drive 55 kilometers north of Regina to Two-Way Service. Online at twowayservice.com.
The Canadian Football League plays here. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
You got Teagan Witko, Justin Dunk, Wes Cates, and Dave Thomas with you as we set the stage for you. The Lions looking to defend home turf against the Stampeders, a team hungry for their first playoff win since 2018 and a chance to face the Riders at Mosaic Stadium 1 week from today in the West Final. Right now, we are going to take a little bit of a trip back in time, however, with today in Rough Rider history. It's brought to you by Taco Time. It's a Rider game day. Buy 2 classic beef burritos for $8.99 on Saturdays and all game days at all 5 Regina locations.
Pleased to be joined by Rob Vanstone today in football history, November the 1st.
1958, 67 years ago, according to my calculations. Rough Riders beat Edmonton 28-14 at Taylor Field. A big day for Jack Hill, who scored 2 touchdowns. He caught 2 touchdown passes, added 2 more points via the kicking, 16 points on the day. Finished the season with 145 points between being a terrific receiver and a kicker, and set a Western Interprovincial Football Union single-season scoring record of 145. It was a Riders scoring record until 1982 when Dave Ridgway broke it. You wouldn't see a player like that now. Converting his own touchdowns as routinely as Jack Hill did, and in his 50-80, he was the Rough Riders' first 1,000-yard receiver. Just a tremendous player. One of my mom's early favorites. Her and Dad moved to Canada in 56. Their first Rider season was 57. And coincides with the Jack Hill era. So I remember Mom always telling me about Jack Hill, and inducted into the Plaza of Honor in 89, part of the Plaza's 3rd class, and just a terrific player, and by all accounts, a terrific gentleman.
That was today in Rough Rider history, of course, with Rob Vanstone and Dave Thomas. And another quick update here in the Eastern semifinal. Montreal Alouettes up 17-3 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So we'll keep you posted on that. But we should probably shift our attention now to the West semifinal out in Vancouver with a look at today's weather. It's brought to you by Quality Tire with 9 locations across Saskatchewan. QualityTire.ca. What are we looking at, Dave?
Rainy morning in Vancouver. Not surprising.
Shocking.
For the first day of November, but things are expected to clear up by kickoff. 11 degrees is going to be the kickoff temperature in Vancouver. With partly cloudy skies, you'd wonder if they are going to open the roof right now. The indication is that it looks like it's going to stay buttoned up at BC Place.
Okay, and that was your weather update, courtesy of Quality Tire. Now, we are going to take a quick break and come back on the other side. We have Thoughts with JD straight ahead, so make sure you hang tight for that. This is Countdown to Kickoff, and this is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
We drive so far to go to these games.
Why don't we just move to Regina?
That's not a half-bad idea.
I mean, I was kind of kidding. I'm not ready to move yet.
An age-friendly community helps older people live happily and healthily as they age. Age-friendly communities make improvements that benefit all ages.
Our community is an age-friendly community.
So let's stay. We can age well with our friends.
Discover how your community could be age-friendly. Go to agefriendlysk.ca.
Proven by countless farmers, 900 Series Fendt sprayers set the standard for your crops, and it's available at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Featuring 370 horsepower, 132-foot boom, 1,580-gallon tank, smart drive 4-wheel steering, and liquid logic recirculating boom, the 900 Series Fendt sprayers are backed by a 3-year, 2,000-hour Gold Star warranty. Leaders drive Fendt. To learn more about making your crops successful, visit Nick's Service today. nickservice.com.
SaskToday.ca is your local news source, proudly serving communities all across Saskatchewan. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground focusing on local topics that matter to you. From agriculture, local community news, sports, and more. Find it all at sasktoday.ca. Sign up for our daily news digest at sasktoday.ca. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Is your diesel running a little rough? Make it right again with diesel fuel conditioner from Milligan Bio. This grown in Saskatchewan solution is made using locally sourced canola. It's a one-of-a-kind, highly effective treatment that increases engine lubrication, cleans your injectors, and improves the fuel economy of your diesel engine, meaning you'll spend less money on maintenance and fuel. Diesel fuel conditioner from Milligan Bio, grown in Saskatchewan for Saskatchewan diesels. Get it online at milliganbio.com.
Need tires that tackle every terrain? Trust Integra Tire Grenfell. But they're more than just tires. Trust them for all your towing, mechanical repairs, and farm service needs as well. From your family car to your combine, they keep you rolling with expert service and small town care. Farm tough, road ready, always reliable. Integra Tire Grenfell, where rubber meets the road and service meets the standard. Locally owned Integra Tire in Grenfell, at the intersection of Highways 1 and 47. Truly local.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till November 5th, save big on the quality and power you know and love from Maytag and Whirlpool. Get a Maytag 5.5 cubic foot Pet Pro top load washer with 7 cubic foot top load dryer for just $16.99. Or get the Whirlpool 5.5 cubic foot IEC top load washer with removable agitator and 7 cubic foot dryer for just $14.99. Matt's Furniture at Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
The Canadian Football League plays here. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Well, hello. Happy semi-final Saturday. It's Teagan Witko with Justin Dunk, Wes Cates, and Dave Thomas setting the stage for you. You know, we figured we'd take a little bit of a detour before we get to Thoughts with JD, and let's talk a little bit about this Eastern semi-final. Now, right now in the second quarter, the Montreal Alouettes up 17-3 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So let's chat a little bit about what this game might look like, and let's dissect some of these numbers here. Wes, what stands out to you with this matchup?
Well, I mean, obviously Winnipeg's been struggling this year, but they do have some studs, right? You're looking at Zach Caleros, and just across the board, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have been kind of the pedigree of the league for the last few years. So them crossing over and kind of deciding to go ahead and cross over and then starting off this game a little slow. I'm interested to see if maybe they can find some juice somewhere. I don't know if they got some energy bars that they can snag at halftime.
Leftover Halloween candy?
Yeah, they need something right now. But I think they misplayed their hand on this one because everybody knows Montreal's been playing some good ball. So they decided maybe they'd go over to the East and have a better path that way. But right now they seem to be a little, long in the tooth. Like this regime might break up after this. But it's not over till it's over. So we'll see if they can get some people going and find a way to put some points on the board maybe right before half. And then if they can bring it to a one-score game before the half, maybe it'll get interesting. But right now it's on the verge of people changing the channel.
Well, yeah, 17-3 right now in favor of the Montreal Alouettes. Justin, how important is it for Brady Oliveira to step up here? Right now he's at 4 carries for 15 yards. Do you think that they're really going to rely on him in the rest of this football game?
Brady Oliveira can't step up if Jason Hogan, the offensive coordinator, doesn't give him the football. Now, it wasn't an ideal start for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who were behind a quick 10-0 in this football game. A lot of coordinators would stray from the run game, but I think that Winnipeg needs to stick with it, considering it's still just a 2-score game. There's a long way to go, well over 30 minutes here. And the Montreal Alouettes aren't exactly deep at defensive tackles. There's only 2 on the roster because Sean Oakman was suspended on Friday night for violating the league's gender-based violence and harassment policy. So it's somewhat shocking to see that Oliveira only has 4 carries so far. And I just want to sort of tag on a couple things Wes said there. For one, Winnipeg kind of chose to go over there, but also the Blue Bombers beat Montreal last week, even though both teams were resting players after the Hamilton Tiger Cats claimed the number 1 seed. So the Bombers didn't necessarily decide their fate in terms of the Eastern crossover. And 2, and I think a lot of people in Saskatchewan will be interested about this, General Manager Kyle Walters and head coach Mike O'Shea both have expiring contracts after the season is over. Now, I'm a big proponent. Football is a 60-minute game, so we're just less than 10 minutes left in the second quarter in this game. But I will say, if it ends in a blowout, you wonder if there could be some changes in Winnipeg. It seems crazy, but guys, let me tell you, my phone has been going off this week alone because the rumor mill is absolutely buzzing about what could happen here in the future. I don't want to get too far into it until, we see how some of these chairs get shuffled around, but there are some big names being thrown around behind the scenes.
For me, okay, these are 2-2-8 teams, and I all season long was the voice that was
10-8.
10-8. Yeah, I was good.
Yeah, sorry. What did I say?
2-8.
2-8.
Oh, wow. Some people would really have enjoyed that. But being 10-8, I was of the thought process that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are still the best until you've been beaten. And it was hard for me to count them out and use the whole number of age and all that stuff. But for me, looking at this game from the outside looking in, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do not have Nick Dembski on the roster today. And if you need a play, you go to Nick Dembski, and he is the guy that has those Dembski downs, as Luke Mullender likes to say. And you don't have that at your disposal with Zach Caleros right now. And when the Rough Riders were there in Winnipeg a couple of weeks ago, you could sense that they were trying to find someone that could take up the Dembski downs, and they haven't been able to do so. Conversely, for the Montreal Alouettes, and again, I'm one of those people that, prove me right, prove me wrong. And I think Davis Alexander still has to prove some people right. Yeah, he's undefeated as a starting quarterback in the Canadian Football League, but can he do it in the playoffs? So far, so good, and we'll just wait and see what kind of things Jordan Younger, the defensive coordinator for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, can go ahead and start to throw out there and see if they can mess him up a little bit. And it's a long way, like you said, Justin, from being over, but those are the kind of things that I'm watching for to see what happens this week.
Dave, perhaps you were trying to quote the Alouettes record without Davis Alexander this season. It's not 2-8, it's 3-8.
Yeah.
Because Davis Alexander is 7-0 this season as a starter, well documented, 11-0 to start his career. And he means that much to this team that he started 7 games and he was nominated as a team MOP. Some people were like, man, how can you only play 7 games and get that? I think it's well worth it. And just look at this game. Davis Alexander sat in the pregame media availabilities and called out Willie Jefferson, who's going to the Hall of Fame, who has multiple Grey Cup rings, and is now out here backing it up. Davis Alexander is showing, at least in the opening half, that he is for real. And if he's going to talk smack, especially in a muscle shirt, I don't know what else we're supposed to call it in these days. He showed up in a white muscle shirt to his availability. I don't want to call it, what it's supposed to technically be called, but I think people get what I'm saying. That this guy's for real. I mean, there's still over 30 minutes to go. Let's see how it plays out. But Davis Alexander talking the talk and backing it up.
He just completed his 11th pass for 210 yards in this football game.
He must have
barely has a running game.
Yeah. Am I wrong? Is it what he has done, or is it what Jason Moss has done for him? Because you've had coaches that influence how you perform, Wes.
Yeah.
Like, how much impact does that coach have?
No, I think coaching, I think in a lot of ways coaching has all the impact, because you can really break a great player down and take away his confidence and not really scheme up things that are to his strengths, or you can work with them and be like, well, what do you want to do? And you're great. You're the best guy I've ever coached, whether that's true or not, right? And just get him in his comfort zone and have him out here talking trash to one of the all-time greats, right? And feeling confident in doing so, and then going out and performing. And I think a lot of times, like, coaches maybe lose that. I don't know. Maybe it takes a guy that's been coached by a great coach to understand how great coaching happens. But it's interesting to see how, and I think that's kind of the marriage that has to happen between your starting quarterback and your head coach. Definitely OC is in there as well if you have a defensive-minded head coach. But at the end of the day, it's all about building that confidence and giving a guy the ability to do the things that he's best at that makes a great offense. And, they're kind of figuring something out over there in Montreal. As long as
you can coach
Alexander
as good as you want.
healthy.
But listen to these numbers, okay?
Yeah.
With Davis Alexander, the lineup, 32.5 points per game this year. With the rest of the quarterbacks that they ran out there when they went 3-8, 21. So, I mean, you can only coach your talent as good as it is. Jason Moss has definitely helped, but I thought something Dave Dickinson said going into the West semifinal was very top of mind when we have this conversation. He talked about being a young offensive play caller in the league with Henry Burris. Rider Nation knows him well. And he said that he was calling plays that he liked, meaning Dave Dickinson, the former quarterback, turned offensive play caller. But he learned, and fortunately for him, quickly, that you have to get on the same thought process with your quarterback who's actually playing the game and call what they like and they are comfortable with. So I think Jason Moss has done a great job of that with Davis Alexander, but also Davis Alexander has been able to learn from multiple quarterbacks within that organization, Jason Moss being one, Anthony Calvillo, who I think goes under the radar a lot when we talk about Davis Alexander and his development, and then having guys like Cody Fajardo there. And to tie it back to Saskatchewan, Trevor Harris, because Davis Alexander has been there that long in Montreal.
And, of course, right now the Montreal Alouettes up 24-3 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the Eastern Semi-Final. So regardless of what happens here, what do you think Hamilton is thinking when they're watching this game, knowing that they're going to be going to the East Final next week? Who do you think they want to face?
Winnipeg.
Well, Winnipeg beat them 40-7, though, not too long ago.
Winnipeg.
It ain't looking. I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of don't worry about it as a player. You're like, I don't know if I ever watched. Well, I wasn't ever not in the Western semis, so that's the problem. But I don't think I've ever, like, even coming down to the end of the season, right, where you're like, oh, who do you want to make the playoffs, or how do you want it to be seeded? I think you just kind of, you're like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're probably going to have to beat everybody, and to win a championship, you're going to have to beat the best to be the best. So you just hope that they aren't doing things that you struggle against, or else you're like, man, we got to get in the lab and figure out how to stop this. That's the biggest issue.
Winnipeg.
Well, we are going to shift our focus back to the Western semifinal here in just a bit, but we do need to take a break. Still plenty on the way, like thoughts with JD, the extra point, betting the odds, all that and so much more on Countdown to Kickoff. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Windsor Plywood in Yorkton specializes in interior and exterior home finishing products, including flooring, doors, moldings, and most importantly, wood products. Their mission is straightforward: to focus on their customers' needs and provide outstanding service. Visit Windsor Plywood in Yorkton at 552 Broadway Street East, or give them a call at 306-782-2937.
Windsor, the experts you need to know.
Crowd to tailgate with all of Rider Nation. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Well, I'm Teagan Witko. I am joined with Justin Dunk, Wes Cates, Dave Thomas. I promised you it was going to be a quick break. It's the West Semi-Final. History favors the home team, but the Stamps are battle-tested, trying to snap a 4-game playoff losing streak. It's the BC Lions Calgary Stampeders. One game decides who will play the Riders next Saturday in the West Final, right here in Regina at Mosaic Stadium. Right now, it is time for Thoughts with JD. It is brought to you by Taco Time. It's a Rider game day. Buy 2 classic beef burritos for $8.99 on Saturdays and all game days at all 5 Regina locations.
All right, the coaching rumor mill is already spinning because the Ottawa Red Blacks fired Bob Dice, even though he had 1 year left, 2026, on his contract. So the Red Blacks, looking for a head coach, already have a list together and are starting to go about that process. And I know Rider Nation got a little bit worried because on our head coaching candidates list on 3downnation.com, we had Mark Mueller and Joshua Bell. And Bell, by the way, actually interviewed with the Red Blacks last year for their vacant defensive coordinator position. Of course, did not leave, elected to stay with Corey Mace as the defensive passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach. But I think that he could at least be someone that's considered. And, you know, you talk to guys like Jaden Dahlke, who was on the Sports Cage earlier this week, and I think Joshua Bell would be a great leader of men as a bench boss in the league. I don't necessarily think he's the leading candidate there. I think Mark Mueller, on the other hand, would be a guy that perhaps multiple franchises would like to have as a head coach, but some indications seem to say that that's not necessarily the way that Mueller would like to go in terms of potentially being the Ottawa Red Blacks head coach. We'll let the process play out a little bit more, but there is a lot of speculation around the league that the Red Blacks could at least in some form or fashion try to make a play for Ryan Dinwiddie, who is currently the head coach with the Toronto Argonauts. I know that sounds crazy. Dave Thomas is looking at me like, how is that even possible? But if you offer Dinwiddie a promotion, like let's say give him an assistant general manager title or perhaps the general manager title, he's told me in the past that he would like to have that dual role. That would be a way to take a major asset from a division rival and bring him down to the nation's capital. Do I think that's necessarily locked in stone going to happen? No. But if you're OSEG, the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group, and general manager Sean Burke, you got to take some big swings here. And Ryan Dinwiddie has shown that he can develop and get the most out of some passers that people don't necessarily think can actually produce at a high level. Case in point, Nick Arbuckle. Look what he did with him this year for the entire season while Chad Kelly was out. Yes, the Argos did not make the playoffs, but I don't think anybody had Nick Arbuckle going well over 4,000 yards this year before he was shut down. He definitely would have got to 5,000 yards. So there's a lot of talk in the coaching rumor mill. As I mentioned, you add Winnipeg into the mix with Mike O'Shea on an expiring contract. His name has come up, and I'll give you this little tidbit. It's an obvious one, but I don't think people have thought about it. I'll ask you guys, who did Mike O'Shea play with and win multiple championships with in the Canadian Football League that's a general manager right now?
I'm trying to think. Well, he was in Edmonton.
Hervey? No. Wouldn't be Dickinson. Mike Pinball Clemens, obviously.
Ding, 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 ding. I won't say anything more. I'll leave it right there.
Do I win a prize?
You do, man.
Absolutely not.
You got the belts.
Jeez. Well, just a point of clarification, though. You put it on, you were on the Sports Cage on Monday, and you mentioned, right, there's the coach's cap, right? But you said that there's a way out for Ottawa this time around, potentially, when it comes to Bob Dice still being under contract for next year?
Yeah, each team has an amnesty, if you will, or you can spread that money over 5 years. So I forget the exact details. I have to look them up, but there's a way where you can say, okay, we sort of get mulligan here. We'll pay Bob Dice this year, but you can't do it again, I think, for a certain amount of time. I want to say it's 5 years as well, but there is a way that you can have that money off the football operations cap. That's a good question.
There you go.
So it could be a very interesting offseason in terms of coaching staff. Okay.
Who do you want to see go over there, JD?
If I was Ottawa?
Yeah.
If I was Sean Burke right now, and we're from the same hometown in Guelph, I'd be trying to get Ryan Dinwiddie and just make it happen. You know, even if you have to go to a vice president of football operations role, Jeremy O'Day has that tag in Saskatchewan along with being the general manager. So to get Ryan Dinwiddie, if you have to say, okay, he's going to be our head coach, but he's also going to be our GM, and that's the reason why we want to talk to him, that's the direction I would be going, because I don't think in recent years Ottawa's defense has necessarily been great, but it's also not been the issue. They haven't been able to find a quarterback, really since Henry Burris left town after winning a Grey Cup there. So you look at the list of names there that have tried to play quarterback or that they've tried to bring in and work with, and it just hasn't worked, right? Like Matt Nichols, Nick Arbuckle, there's a bunch of names in the mix there, and it hasn't happened. So if Ryan Dinwiddie comes in, based on what he did with Nick Arbuckle and other quarterbacks in his past, you would think that he's the guy in this league that could get the most out of Drew Brown, who is under contract with the Ottawa Redblacks for the 2026 CFL season. So that would be far and away my number one target if I was Ottawa.
And the Ottawa coaching search continues. So, yes, this offseason is going to be very interesting to see if the predictions are right. Right now, though, I think we got to take a quick break. It is Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by Nelson Homes, supplying home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. And just a quick update here, 24-3 Montreal Alouettes ahead over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We'll be back with so much more. Extra Point with JD coming up. We're going to see what the odds makers are saying as well. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Two big sales this week at 2S Auctioneers in Indian Head. Monday is a big collector auction featuring a major train collection, HO&N scale. Many new old stock parts, new old stock engines and cars. Then on Tuesday is the closeout for Dave's Automotive, formerly of Vibank. Tire changer, generators, bolt bins, parts cabinets of all descriptions. Easy to register, easy to bid, and you can come have a look at 2S Auctioneers in Indian Head. 2sauctioneers.ca, online auction house.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
SEIU West members are
Medical Equipment Coordinator,
Combined Laboratory and X-Ray Technologist, Orderly,
Biomedical Engineering Technologist,
File Clerk,
MRI Technologist,
Carpenter, Pharmacy Technician,
Cardiology Technologist,
Staff Scheduler,
Information Technology Analyst.
The backbone of your public health care system. Learn more at seius.ca.
Working with asphalt, sealant, or tar can be a sticky mess. It gets everywhere and on everything. Keep your rollers, truck, and tools clean with environmentally friendly asphalt release agent from Milligan Bio. This grown in Saskatchewan solution is made using locally sourced canola. It's safe for the environment, prevents stick-on asphalt, and reduces buildup that's already there. And you'll use less than other products on the market. Great for all paving situations. Asphalt release agent from Milligan Bio. Get yours today at milliganbio.com.
Fall means pumpkin spice, falling leaves, and slippery roads. When the temperature drops, so does your tire's grip. Enter Quality Tire. Don't wait for that first icy morning to find out you need new tires. Quality Tire will get you into the right set for the season so you can stop quicker, handle better, and keep smiling all season long. Stay ahead of the frost with Quality Tire. Trusted for the road ahead with 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca. It's game time at Two-Way Service, your Ford dealer in Southie. Just 30 money-saving minutes north of Regina on Highway 6. Two-Way Service is a first-round draft pick, delivering championship deals all season long. Score big with any vehicle purchase, and they'll throw in a free trip for 2 to Las Vegas. That's right, Vegas, baby. So suit up and drive 55 kilometers north of Regina to Two-Way Service. Online at twowayservice.com.
No way! You're Bruiser McTackle, my favorite football player!
That's right, kid. I'm going door to door talking about SaskTel's fastest internet and smoking deals on the latest phones at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Hey,
Did somebody say fast internet? Beetlejuice? You need fast internet and a new phone? I need fiber and fiber optic. This is the best fall ever!
Visit Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
Howdy, it's your old pal Wood Country Woody here. Building a fence or corral? Of course you are. That's why y'all need to be seeing the good folks down at Wood Country. Wood Country's your one-stop fencing shop with everything you need right now. Keeled rails, slabs, rough-cut lumber, fence posts, and barbed wire. Get on into Wood Country. Post haste. In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale.
Your home is your castle.
Wood-country.com.
The Canadian Football League plays here. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
You got Teagan Witko, Justin Dunk, Wes Cates, and Dave Thomas with you. With the BC Lions at home this afternoon, Calgary's on the hunt, and the West Semi-Final will decide the next chapter in the CFL playoffs. Who will face the Riders at home 1 week from today? We find out tonight. But right now, first things first, it's the Extra Point with Justin Dunk. It is brought to you by Fraser Tolmie, Member of Parliament for Moose Jaw, Lake Center, Lanigan, fighting for Saskatchewan in Ottawa.
Let's get some 2025 CFL regular season data in order, okay? Because we all know there's been so much talk about the CFL rule changes, the major ones coming in 2027. But let's just note a couple major yardage and scoring items, okay? First and foremost, it's the first time since 2018 that two quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League have thrown for over 5,000 yards. Let's think about that. That's a while, okay? Nathan Rourke with the BC Lions and Bo Levi Mitchell, who was the CFL's passing yardage king by 6 yards, but Rourke started 2 less games. Then you look at the points per game in the Canadian Football League. 52.9 over the course of an 81-game regular season. That is the most in the Canadian Football League since 2017. By far the most since the pandemic. In every year post-pandemic that the CFL has played football, yes, in 2021 it was shortened. There was only 63 regular season games. There has been a scoring uptick in the league. We're talking about 43.1 points per game to 50.4 points per game in 2022, 50.8 points per game in 2023, 51.8 points per game in 2024, and then the aforementioned 52.9 points per game in the Canadian Football League in 2025. So if my math is right, I think that's 5 years in a row, there has been a points per game increase. Add to that, we'll get Wes Cates in the mix here on this. For just the 7th time in CFL history, at least 6 running backs recorded 1,000 or more yards on the ground. It's a rare feat in the Canadian Football League for that many backs to go over the 1,000-yard mark. Of course, Dedrick Mills, who's in the West Semi-Final, was part of that group. So was James Butler. And A.J. Ouellette also was in that mix as well. And I think if A.J. Ouellette would have played a full season and didn't rest, or the Riders didn't wrap up the West Final so early, that he could have been in the mix to be the CFL's rushing king, but that designation goes to A.J. Ouellette. So to bring Wes Cates into the mix here, he was part of one of these seasons where 6 or more running backs rushed for 1,000 yards. Do you know what year that was, Wes?
It was, it would either been 2008 or 2010, I'm guessing.
You're
but I don't know.
Splitting them. 2009 was the year.
So close.
You were in the right range. You were
Right
so
in
close.
there.
I thought you were about to
Yeah.
say 2008 or 2009.
You know what?
but
I was thinking 9 at first because I was like, I think I got because I'm pretty sure I got 1,000 from 8 to 9 and 10. But 9 and 10, I was like just barely. So I was probably that 6th guy in 9.
So here's the kicker. I was throwing a bit of a curveball at you because that year you actually didn't have 1,000. You were just under.
Okay.
932.
Yeah.
So some of the other seasons, I'm sure you were right that you had 1,000, but it's being part of that rushing group as a whole. So in 2009, there was a bunch of backs that went over that 1,000-yard mark, which I think, if I have my math right, was actually the only time that 7 rushers did it. So Joffrey Reynolds, Fred Reed, Archie Whitlock, Martel Mallet, DeAndre Cobb, Avon Coburn, and Jamal Robertson, that's 7, all went over 1,000 yards that season. So there's only been 1 year where 7 rushers went over the 1,000-yard mark in a season. You were close, bro.
But
that year you had 932. You could have made it 8.
In my defense, that was after my shoulder surgery, and I didn't play game 1 and 2 in 9, but I played the rest of them.
Excuses.
So, there we go. So you could have been multiple
pouring it on. No.
consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I will note, this year is the first time that every West Division team had a 1,000-yard rusher. Seems crazy to think in the history of the Canadian Football League, but you had Brady Oliveira in Winnipeg, you had AJ Ouellette in Saskatchewan, Dedrick Mills, doing his thing in Calgary. Justin Rankin just got enough to get there, and then James Butler. So the West, as we know, is always rough and tumble, but these backs are bringing it, just like our boy Wes Cates did back in the day.
Basically, you're saying offense is up. So what's up with the rule changes?
Yes!
Full circle.
Thank you, my man.
I'm just happy I'm still the only trivia winner from JD so far, so I'm waiting for my prize. That's all I'm saying. You were close, though, Wes. I'll give you close.
Yeah, I was all over the place.
The privilege of enjoying our company is your prize.
There you
Dave.
go. Right on. I'm in.
Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. That was your extra point with Justin Dunk. Now we should take a look at what the odds makers are saying here. I think I have an idea, but just in case, let's dive into the numbers here, Justin. It's brought to you by Daleen Power Sports, proudly community-driven, powering every ride every season.
Well, let's look at, a couple different things here, because we have this Alouettes-Bombers game that's already ongoing, but both these games actually opened up with the home side as around 4.5-point favorites. So the Montreal Alouettes look like they could easily cover that spread. Out in BC, we have the Lions going from 4.5-point favorites since it opened up to 6-point favorites in that football game, 54.5. So Luke Mullender's not here, but I thought we'd go around the horn here and see if we could get some picks for the West Semi-Final. Let's start with Teagan.
I'm taking the Lions all the way. Money line.
To cover? You're taking the Lions for like a touchdown score more?
You know what? I think I would take them to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Lions in this one. They're at home. Roof is closed. They got some momentum. Yeah, I'm taking the Lions. What do you say, Wes?
I think, that line, that's a good line. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a defensive game. I feel like the offenses are going to be a little nervous. I'm gonna say it's going to be a 1-score game. I'm gonna take Stamps.
Oh.
Yeah. It's going to be like a 3-point game.
Stamps to cover, BC to win?
Stamps to cover, BC to win.
Okay. I know you're not much of a gambler there, Dave Thomas, but what do you say?
Yeah, because I hate losing money. I'm always wrong. So if you're listening to this, don't take anything that I say for advice. But I'm with you, Wes. I think that if BC wins this game, it's going to be by 3 or less. And if Calgary wins, it's going to be by a double-digit margin.
All right.
Okay, so let me add one more betting note into the mix, because your Saskatchewan Roughriders have been installed as the favorites to win the 112th Grey Cup. Depending where you look, the line could vary, but it seems unanimous across the board that entering these CFL playoffs, the Riders are the odds-on favorite, at least from the odds makers, to hoist that Grey Cup in Winnipeg.
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest here. Before the start of the CFL season, I put a little money on the Riders to outright win it.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mean to jinx anything here, Rider Nation, but I could be making a little bit of cash here. We'll see in a couple of weeks.
I wonder what was their likelihood. I guess
Start the season. I actually have it here. It was around plus 500.
Yeah.
Teagan got some good value.
So $20 down. Return could be 120. Nice. So coffee on me if they win. We can even afford Starbucks with that win. That was Betting the Odds with Daleen Power Sports. This is Countdown to Kickoff, my friends. It is brought to you by Croft Electric, 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. That's croftelectric.com and all socials. Now, coming up next, we have our buddy Glenn Suter popping in, so we'll chat with him in just a little bit here. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
620 CKRM brings you Saskatchewan's #1 sports talk show, The Sports Cage. Weekday afternoons at 3 p.m. Breaking down the biggest news in Rider Nation. Rider season is in full swing. Check out sportscage.com for the full Rider schedule and all Rider updates. It's time to bleed green. Catch The Sports Cage weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on the voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Dan from Croft Electric talks about why electrical work on the farm should be left to the professionals.
Focus on what you're good at. You're a good farmer, whether it's a grain farmer, it's a rancher, whatever it is, you focus on that. Let us take the electrical off your plate. Let us do it right, do it once, and we'll always be here when you need us in a pinch. And that way you have that peace of mind so you can sleep at night and not worry about electrical. Just worry about your farm. Do it right, do it once.
CroftElectric.com.
The folks at Integra Tire Grenfell know how important abbreviations are these days, with everyone texting 24/7. To remind the good people of Saskatchewan that Integra Tire Grenfell is your go-to trusted name for tires, towing, mechanical, and farm service needs, they decided to abbreviate tires, towing, mechanical, farm service to TTMF. Then decided, maybe not. Integra Tire Grenfell, locally owned Integra Tire in Grenfell, at the intersection of Highways 1 and 47. Truly local.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you money at Matt's Furniture. Now till November 5th, save big on the quality and power you know and love from Maytag and Whirlpool. Get a Maytag 5.5 cubic foot Pet Pro top load washer with 7 cubic foot top load dryer for just $16.99. Or get the Whirlpool 5.5 cubic foot IEC top load washer with removable agitator and 7 cubic foot dryer for just $14.99. Matt's Furniture at Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
This football season, Positively Perfect Pets is ready for a touchdown of the best pet food in town, offering a fantastic selection of healthy food and treats. Dan from Paws Purr is your quarterback for your pet's food decisions and everything else for your furry friends. The customer service will always go long for anything you need, setting their team apart from the box stores. Score big points with your pets at Positively Perfect Pets, 4637 Ray Street. Visit their Facebook page and onestopdogshop.com.
Hi folks, Tim here. Now is the time to purchase a quality used Case IH combine from Young's Equipment Incorporated. Did you know that on qualified used combines, we offer an interest waiver and a protection plan? Wow, talk about the total package. But most of all, the peace of mind knowing that you purchased your used Case IH combine from Young's Equipment Incorporated. Priceless. Guarantee a smooth harvest. Check out Young's Equipment today.
I still just don't understand it. It's like buying a jigsaw puzzle and only getting half the pieces. I'm Wood Country Woody, and I like things done right. That's why my garage package came from Wood Country. A Wood Country garage package contains everything you need right from the start, including appearance-grade lumber, all your nails and screws, and walk-in doors with cladded jambs. It's one and done right with Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale, wood-country.com.
Proud to tailgate with all of Rider Nation. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Of course, you got Teagan Witko here with Justin Dunk and Wes Cates. Dave Thomas joining us in studio as well. We are getting you set for a contest between familiar foes in the Calgary Stampeders and BC Lions facing off for the third time in just 7 weeks in this Western Semi-Final. This afternoon, BC Place. Riders on standby to see who they'll be facing next weekend in the West Final. But right now, we are going to be chatting with Mr. Glenn Suter for North Home Windows, designing, building, and installing window systems in Saskatchewan for Saskatchewan conditions. Google North Home Windows or call 1-866-362-6525. So, Glenn, we're looking at the Lions Stamps this afternoon. When it comes to one-on-one matchups, what are you most looking for in this West semifinal?
Well, you got the leading receiver statistically in the league in Keon Hatcher. So, the matchup between and Keon usually lines up inside, so he's usually a slot back. So the matchup between he and a guy like Sheldon Arnold, who hasn't played in well over a month and a half because he's been on the injured list and is back in this game at halfback, I think that's going to be a very intriguing matchup to watch. You've got two of the great pure pass rushers in the league to watch on their own. I mean, when BC has the ball, Clarence Hicks is going to probably, and this is a guess by me, but I would suggest that Hicks will be used as a spy. He'll be used to, at times, sort of just mirror what Nathan Rourke does. In other words, don't go on a pass rush move. Just stand back and mirror what he does, and then if he tries to escape, try to track him down. I think that the Stamps would be wise to play that type of strategy against Nathan Rourke, who was the leading quarterback rushing the football this year. So that's good. And then, of course, on the other side, Matthew Betts. I mean, the Lions love to move Matthew Betts around. They'll play him in the interior, try to get matchups on a guard or maybe even the center. And when he does that, and when they're successful with that, he racks up big numbers. So, I think both teams will have these sort of individual games inside of the game that, if you're a fan watching at home, you can sort of say, "Hey, I'm gonna tune in and watch Keon Hatcher's matchup, or watch Matthew Betts against." By the way, in Calgary, a tackle in William Barnes out of North Carolina that is playing in his first game in the CFL. And he's playing right tackle for Calgary in this one this afternoon.
Yeah, you're talking about all these matchups, Suits. What position group do you think is going to have the biggest impact on this game?
Well, it's, Wes, when I look at the two teams in their running games, excellent. Both have big play quarterbacks. That almost cancels out when you look at Vernon and Nathan and how they can move the ball down the field. Great big play receivers on both sides. So, Jalen Philpott and Dom Rhymes indoors, as good as it gets. And, we just talked about Keon. So those sort of, to me, in a lot of ways cancel out. But when I look at the Calgary Stampeders secondary, let's just focus on that position group alone. Adrian Green's had a great year at the wide side corner, and, in fact, is tied for the league lead in interceptions after the end of the regular season with 6. So he's had an excellent year. But, coming into this season, he had 3 interceptions in 42 games played in the league. And this year he had 6. So he doubled that total in one season. So I don't want to take anything away from his great year. But if you get Keon Hatcher and you get Barry Hill out there in the matchup, you look at their group, Sheldon Arnold at halfback into the boundary is, as I mentioned, coming back off injured list. Usually it's the second game off the injured list that you feel most comfortable. This will be his first game. Anthony Johnson, playing short side corner for Calgary, he's been on and off the injured list over the last 5 weeks. Played a couple games, missed a couple of games, and is now back in the starting lineup. And they don't have Damon Webb either. I mean, Webb was an all-star this year, divisional all-star at safety for Calgary at the start of the season. And now Bailey Devine-Scott, who's playing well, but he is their starting safety. So when I look at that position group, the Calgary Stampeders secondary, and I match them up with Barry Hill, Keon Hatcher, Justin McInnis, Javon Catoy, and Aiden Eberhardt, that is the positional matchup that I think wins or loses this game. If somehow Calgary can, play maybe their best game in the secondary, this game could be won by either team. If this BC Lion receiving corps starts to just rip up this Calgary secondary, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Stamps.
Fair enough.
Glenn, when you look at people talking about who the Riders are picking or who Saskatchewan would like to play, what's your mindset on that?
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Like, that's the number one question. Which team would you rather play against? And sometimes it feels like that question comes out like the riders and their fans would like the weakest of the two teams in the semifinal to make it somehow to the final so that they have an easier way to winning that game and getting to the Grey Cup. I think that's a very risky way to think. It really is. If you're a player or a coach and you are wondering or thinking about which team you'd rather meet, you're thinking about the wrong things. I think you have to believe in your team, believe in your process, and you know, the coaches will say this. You've heard it from Corey Mace. You've heard it from a lot of the players with the Riders. I think it's more of a media thing than anything, but it's very risky to start looking across to the other sideline and say, what do they got? And hopefully they don't have their best because that's how we're going to win. That's I don't know. I'll just be quite honest. That's a loser mentality. It really is. You just have to believe in your process and your team, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter one way or another who comes out of this semifinal for the Riders. It's the best team will come out of it on this game this afternoon, and that's the team they face, and they have to have confidence that they can beat either team coming out of this semifinal.
Suits, I was at practice all week for the bonus week workouts that the Riders were holding, and breaking news, nobody picked who they wanted to play this week, so just putting that to bed. But the other topic was tailgating might be coming legally to Saskatchewan. Now, back in the day when you were playing in the university section, we may or may not have had our own tailgating happening, but now this might actually come to fruition. This could be pretty cool.
About time.
I always wondered about that Section 27 up in because the DBs used to warm up there and right in front of that section. In fact, when I was a rookie in my rookie season, I remember we went over there to that section to warm up right in front of it, and I thought, this has got to be great karma because it's Section 27. I'm wearing number 27. This has got to be karma. We're warming up in front of this section. And then I watched you guys go nuts up there, and I thought, what is happening in Section 27? Hey, this is news, and it's amazing to me that it has kind of flown under the radar in a lot of ways. And I guess it's because the Riders have done a pretty good job of having that family area with the live band outside the stadium and things like that. But this is true tailgating. And I see it happen in Winnipeg. I see it happen in Hamilton, and the fans absolutely love it. I mean, the National Football League has basically made a living off it. When my kid was in Nashville and I would go to the Titans games, I wouldn't even go to the games. I would go to the tailgate, hang out with a bunch of fans and talk football, a lot of CFL football too, and then go to a bar or a honky-tonk to watch the game on TV. And I just think that this is a major announcement that in 10 years, the benefit of which will be astronomical. It'll just change the entertainment value because people love it. They open up their tailgates, they get their barbecue going, and it's a day event rather than just let's go to the game. And and this concern throughout the past that, well, they're not going to spend as much money outside of or inside of the stadium because they're having a beverage or two outside, so they're not going to spend as much money inside the stadium, and that's going to hit us in the bottom line. I've never agreed with that thought. I've never agreed with that statement that if you have a couple out in the parking lot, make sure you arrange for a safe ride home. But if you have a couple out in the parking lot, you're not only buying a couple more inside, you're also buying souvenirs and a ton of food, and you're getting, you're really getting going once you get inside that stadium. So I think souvenir sales and concession sales are going to go up because of tailgating. This is a major announcement. Good. It's been a long time coming. Way to go, Riders, for finally getting it done. And, I wish I could partake in a lot of it. I won't be able to, but I do know the fans. I do know the fans will love it.
So that means we won't be finding Mr. Glenn Suter shotgun and Pilsners in the parking lot?
Boy, those days are long gone, Teagan, long gone. But
missed opportunity. Well, Glenn, we appreciate your time as always. Thanks for dropping in, and enjoy the game this afternoon.
Thank you, guys. It's going to be fun. I think this is going to be a good one.
I think so, too. Thanks, as always. Glenn Suter joining us here on Countdown to Kickoff, of course. And you heard him mention it there. Big play VA, Rourke. Quarterbacks, head-to-head. Let's dive into that quarterback comparison and even bring in the riders here a little bit, too. So this is brought to you by Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. For all your hunting and shooting needs, visit prairieguntraders.ca.
Can I say something about tailgating?
Yes.
Because I'm from Ohio State tailgating, and it's a big part of. It's kind of like the gateway drug into fandom, because you can kind of just, if you're not really a fan, you can just show up at a tailgate and then be in the atmosphere and kind of graduate into, okay, I want to invest in some tickets. So yeah. Anyway, when I first got up here as a rookie, I think they were just starting to outlaw tailgating in Calgary because of a little tension between Sask and Calgary. Whatever, man. I was like, it should be illegal to not be able to hang out in the parking lot and do your thing, but I digress. Sorry, Dave.
No. There's a couple of takeaways that I had there. Number one, Calgary and Hamilton are, again, I've never had a chance to experience it until the last couple of years. Sensational. And number two is I had no idea what section we were even in. I didn't know it was 27. I had no clue. So I don't know.
Glenn remembers.
Tell me what that means. I don't know. Quarterbacks, yeah, okay, Nathan Rourke, we've heard about him. We've heard about Vernon Adams Jr., but we thought we would get to a quarterback that has experience when it comes to the matchup between the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders, and to see how the Saskatchewan Roughriders are breaking down the matchup as far as what they can prepare for next week. That's where I had a conversation after practice with Jake Mayer. Jake, a little chill in the air. Obviously, you got to start thinking about postseason football. Tell me about preparing for a West Final that's still well over a week away.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're trying to get accomplished right now during this bye week is just trying to stay sharp on what we're doing and just get better. I mean, bye weeks can go one of two ways, man. You either make value of the time or you just let it come and go. Our responsibility at this point in the season and what we're trying to accomplish, we need to stay sharp. So putting in all the prep this week to make sure that we're ready to go come next week.
You're a veteran. You're a leader. You've been through postseason football before. Does anything change at all in your terms of your preparation?
Not really. I mean, you treat all these games pretty similar in your prep as long as you have a really good routine. You might circle back to some things and do what you can to make sure that you communicate and leave no stone unturned for sure. Because this is why you do it. This is why you work so hard for these types of moments. So you want to be able to say that, hey, your routine is as sharp as it can be by this point in the season, and it's just about trying to keep your mind calm, keep it at ease, and when it's time to go on game day, you put your best foot forward.
The saying and cliche goes, pressure is a privilege. Mm-hmm. Is there pressure, though, not on the field, but in the preparation work that you're doing to get onto the field to ensure that you haven't left any stone unturned?
I think pressure probably isn't the right word for what we're all experiencing right now. I think that we are very fortunate to be where we are, and I think we're in a position right now where we expected to be, and it's something that we've put a lot of work towards, something that we've talked about a lot as a group, and I wouldn't say pressure is necessarily the word that we're feeling right now. I think that we're excited. I think that we are looking forward to the challenge of whoever we see in the next couple weeks, and there shouldn't be any extra burden that's involved with that. I mean, we got to play loose, have fun, enjoy these experiences, cherish these moments with the group that we have, because as we know in the CFL, you never know what the future looks like. It's all about what you do now and what you have right now. So we're excited.
You've been in this league, like I allude to, a veteran, and I draw on that experience for how are you going to watch the games this weekend? As a fan, we can sit back and we're cheering touchdowns. Do you watch them differently than what we would?
At this time, I mean, yeah, when you're watching a playoff game and you're trying to prepare for somebody, you know who they are as a base. You've watched them on film all year and you've played against them and you know what they want to be. Now in these playoff games, there's always going to be little wrinkles. There's always going to be little change-ups that they haven't showed on film yet, just to try to get you in the moment. And I think when I watch these two teams play, and I think this goes for a lot of guys, I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. What little tweaks they might make defensively, or what their game plan is in the playoffs to make sure that they have an edge of their opponent. I think that's something that'll be kind of underlined maybe to the naked eye, and I look forward to seeing some of that stuff.
Can you focus too much on those tweaks or anticipating what the next tweak to the tweak could be?
No, I think you go in with a good thought process on who your opponent is. You focus a lot on who you are as yourself and your game plan, and then you react to the tweaks. I mean, you can't build up this anxiety of the make-believe. You can't let your imagination run too wild. You just go in with a firm plan and firm understanding of what the defense is doing. You lean heavily into your game plan, into your process, and then you react accordingly based on what it is.
Truly appreciate you sharing your experience. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks a lot, man.
Was your quarterback comparison, of course, for Prairie Gun Traders. Dave Thomas speaking with Jake Mayer ahead of this West semi-final out in BC, Lions and Stamps. Now, of course, we have more on the go for you coming up next on Countdown to Kickoff. We are going to jump into Cates' corner, get his analysis in front of this game, and we're going to chat with Mark Habicht from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Winter is coming fast. Is your vehicle ready? At Karst Holdings Integra Tire in Assiniboia, they've got the winter tires you need to stay safe and in control, no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. From top brands to expert installation, they've got you covered. Plus, winter rebates on now up to $100 off. Karst Holdings Integra Tire in Assiniboia. Your road, our passion. Visit them today or book online at karstholdings.ca.
The Gleaner S9 Series combines are designed for farmers in the business of farming. A harvest is successful when a crop is harvested as quickly and efficiently as possible and produces a clean grain sample with little loss. The Gleaner combine offers levels of harvesting performance and efficiency other combines are unable to achieve. Simply put, Gleaner combines save more and cost less. See the Gleaner S9 at Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nickservice.com. The Gleaner S9, built with the farmer in mind.
SaskToday.ca is your local news source, proudly serving communities all across Saskatchewan. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground focusing on local topics that matter to you. From agriculture, local community news, sports, and more. Find it all at SaskToday.ca. Sign up for our daily news digest at SaskToday.ca. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality.
In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes.
Or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
Dan from Croft Electric tells us why it's worth it to have your farm's electrical done right.
You don't go to the cheapest eye doctor. You want to go to one that's going to make sure that the product and whatever you need is done right. So that's what you may have to pay a little extra to get us there, but we'll make sure that whatever your electrical project is, Croft Electric will make sure it's done right.
Croft Electric.
We believe we'd be the right choice for you.
CroftElectric.com.
It's game time at Two Way Service, your Ford dealer in Southie. Just 30 money-saving minutes north of Regina on Highway 6. Two Way Service is a first-round draft pick, delivering championship deals all season long. Score big with any vehicle purchase, and they'll throw in a free trip for two to Las Vegas. That's right, Vegas, baby. So suit up and drive 55 kilometers north of Regina to Two Way Service. Online at twowayservice.com.
No way! You're Bruiser McTackle, my favorite football player!
That's right, kid. I'm going door to door talking about SaskTel's fastest internet and smoking deals on the latest phones at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Hey, did somebody say fast internet? Beetlejuice? You need fast internet and a new phone?
I need fiber and fiber optic.
This is the best fall ever! ever!
Visit Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
Milligan Bio has a need for seed, and they want your heated and damaged canola today. Milligan Bio, a locally owned Canadian company based in Foam Lake, has space available for your canola and is accepting immediate delivery. Get that damaged canola out of your bins and put the cash in your pocket. Call Milligan Bio now at 272-6284. That's 272-6284 to arrange your delivery or on-farm pickup. MilliganBio.com.
The Canadian Football League plays here. This is the CFL West Semi-Final and the Croft Electric Nelson Homes Countdown to Kickoff on the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
Yeah, it is. You got Teagan Witko, Justin Dunk, Wes Cates, and Dave Thomas. The CFL's postseason is here. Division semi-final Saturday. Winnipeg in Montreal right now, and the score is currently 25-13 in favor of the Montreal Alouettes. But of course, we are getting you set for that 3:30 kickoff from BC Place as the Lions take on the Stamps, and the Riders will face the winner of this contest this afternoon. Right now, however, we're going to dive into Riders in the Community, brought to you by Saskatchewan Seniors Mechanism. Learn how age-friendly communities benefit us all. Visit skseniorsmechanism.ca. Joining us on the line right now, Mark Habicht, Director of Retail Operations for the Riders. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So first and foremost, for fans who have yet to purchase their playoff tickets, are there any promotions, packages, incentives that we should make folks aware of?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff, and actually I'll say tickets are moving fast. Just saw some numbers today. They're moving fast, and they're getting updated quickly, so they're probably out of date already. But, first and foremost, Co-op Community Zone, a few of you have definitely heard about it. $20 tickets up in the 600s on the east side, great seat, and $20. Really can't beat that at any co-op location throughout the province. And then you can also do the 3+ me. So if you've got 3 other buddies, get a group together, and basically you buy 3 tickets, you're going to get 1 free, which is crazy for a playoff game. So awesome to come out. We want to fill the place. We want it to be jam-packed. We want it to be crazy and loud, and I think Rider Nation is going to deliver.
I mean, the team has busted their tails to earn that right for home field advantage in the West Final and, of course, the bye week this week. So now Rider Nation just needs to show up and do their thing, Mark. Any specials in the store heading into the West Final that you would like to make mention of?
Yeah, we're going to have noisemakers actually on special. We figure if people are going to come, let's make sure they're equipped. So 25% off the hand clappers and the cowbells. We're actually also going to hand out 10,000 cowbells at the gate. So the first 10,000 people coming through are going to get a cowbell. So we're going to do everything possible to make sure it is loud and crazy in there the whole game.
No air horns?
No air horns, sorry. Not allowed.
Mark Habicht, Director of Retail Operations with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Riders really appreciate the time, Mark. Thanks for doing this.
Okay, thank you.
And enjoy the game this afternoon.
Thanks, you guys too.
Appreciate it. Of course, that was your Saskatchewan Roughrider in the Community segment. Now we're going to turn things over to our boy, Wes Cates. Cates' Corner, brought to you by Prairie Battery in Regina, your one-stop source for quality batteries. Check out Prairie Battery at 646 Henderson Drive or call to find a dealer near you.
Yeah, Teagan, I was kind of thinking about what to talk about with the Riders not playing today, and then me reflecting, I was like, I never really had the chance to have the bye, right? I know we were close in 07, but then G. Simon caught a late post pass to get the tiebreaker. I think we ended both 12-6 that season, but they had the tiebreaker on us. So I was that close maybe to having that bye. But I think for the Riders, their biggest thing is just sitting back, have a little popcorn today, enjoying the games, maybe watching a little more intently, making sure that they maybe see some new plays or some new wrinkles that these other teams are putting in, but really just getting yourself healthy, right? The guys that really need time off, this is great because you have a week where you really don't need to practice, so maybe you can just sit back and relax and not take reps and really just get into the training room, get with a therapist, and handle your business as far as trying to get your body as healed as possible, and really just hanging out with the guys, watching film, communicating about the things you're likely going to see, and just making sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, and that you kind of know what you're going to face and are ready and prepared. So I think it's just a mental week, and then excited to get back on the field next week, everybody, and get healthy.
Of course, that is Cates' Corner, diving into analysis with our own Wes Cates. Now we need to talk a little bit about the coaching matchup here. Of course, you have Buck Pierce on one sideline. You have Dave Dickinson on the other sideline. But we wanted to get the Riders' perspective here. It is Catching Up with the Coach, brought to you by KFC. Get the Rough Rider Game Day Special, $4.95 Big Crunch, $7.95 Big Crunch Combo at participating Saskatchewan KFC locations. Here's Dave Thomas with Corey Mace.
Alberta Watchy got one of the best smiles in the entire league. It never phases you or seems to leave your face. How much fun are you having this year?
First off, I appreciate that, Dave. I'm having a lot of fun out here.
We'll just cue up, again, Mr. Corey Mace, head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, talking about how they will be preparing for this potential matchup against either the Calgary Stampeders or, of course, the BC Lions, depending on the results of this afternoon's game.
Coach, during this off week, you held practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You called them bonus practices. Did you get what you needed to from them?
Oh, yeah. Great week of practice. Allow us to get ahead a little bit and keep the guys sharp on our tools and, end the day with a little bit of fun today. So it was a great week.
How much of this week was about self-scouting?
Yeah, a lot of times, that is our focus. What can we do better now? And being obvious, a lot of really good teams, a lot of really good players and good coaches that can take advantage of some of the things that you do well, but, how you adapt, again, that's kind of self-reflection, right? So we try to focus on what we do, but certainly with the understanding of what our opponent's trying to do to us.
Coach, I know you've made plans as a team to watch the West Semi-Final between Calgary and BC. Are you expecting to see a lot of different things from those two clubs today?
Yeah, I think every team's honestly a little bit different than when you see them last. Even, going into this week's game to seeing what BC does compared to what they did last week. I mean, there's probably going to be different wrinkles. So, teams change just depending on the evolution of the playbook and also evolution of the roster. So, it should be interesting. Going to be a good one for us to take a peek at this week. Two really good teams. But, right now we're just focused on what we can do.
I know there's a lot of excitement to host the West Final in this building. What does it mean to host the West Final at Mosaic Stadium to the Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Yeah, listen, the advantage, I think, for being at home, specifically in this place, is tremendous. One, I know our fan base wanted it so badly, and, we were able to accomplish that. So I'm unbelievably excited to see Rider Nation show up. But, being on the flip side and going to somebody else's barn last year, it was tough on us as the opponent going in there. I want that to be the exact same environment here, and that's our fan base's job, man. That's why we built this place, is to bring Rider Nation here for games like this. Can't wait to hear those guys.
That was our very own Dave Thomas catching up with head coach Corey Mace of the Saskatchewan Roughriders as we get set for this 3:30 kickoff local time. Stamps in BC to take on the Lions. By the way, another interception for Winnipeg and a touchdown. So now that Bombers-Alouettes game, Montreal up 25-20 in the third quarter. So maybe not as much of a cakewalk as a lot of people thought when it comes to the Owls here, hey?
Well, apparently, maybe Winnipeg did know what they were doing. No. We'll see how it shakes out. But, it's still home field. Davis has been playing some good ball. Not one bad play doesn't seal the game. So, we'll see.
Wes, your bias is showing a little bit. Final thoughts as we get ready to hand things over to QR77. Justin, final thoughts as we're heading into this matchup between the Stamps and Lions.
Nathan Rourke has diced this secondary twice, going over 300 yards and actually went over 400 yards in the second meeting, 414 and 4 touchdowns, 6 total passing touchdowns. This guy's been on fuego as the Lions have 6 straight. I just have a hard time seeing the Stamps with a banged-up secondary. As Glenn Suter mentioned, Damon Wedd being out of this football game, and some other new starters there, namely William Barnes at right tackle, is going to make it difficult for Calgary. There's a path to winning there. I think if the Stamps can establish the ground game with Dedrick Mills, that Calgary could pull off an upset. But I think Nathan Rourke has this BC Lions team pointed towards a return trip to Mosaic Stadium for the second time in 3 weeks.
Dave Thomas.
End of the day, I think this is a statement game for both Nathan Rourke and Vernon Adams Jr. They both last year had an opportunity to lead BC Lions to a home field Grey Cup appearance. Neither were able to do it. Nathan Rourke has been dynamite all regular season long. The playoffs are a different type of intensity. Will he raise his game to that level? Or will Vernon Adams Jr. find a way to go ahead and take that next step in his career, leading a franchise to a playoff victory? I think it's statement time.
Wes Cates.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see who comes out nervous and who comes out ready to play. There's always going to be some guys that just settle in and some guys that maybe make some mistakes. And then it's a game of inches, so those close plays, maybe just a pass just over DB's hands, whatever the case may be, those are going to be the exciting moments for me.
We are getting ready to turn things over to QR77 to continue setting up this showdown from BC Place. Lions, Stamps, 3:30 local time is kickoff, and we will be back with you on the radio and streaming online at sportscage.com and YouTube 1 week from today. We'll be live from the Sports Cage Lounge inside Mosaic Stadium. Now, before that, of course, you can feel free to join me on Monday from 3 to 6 on the Sports Cage. We will discuss the Saskatchewan Roughriders opponent in that West Final once we know who it is, and we will have the phone lines open. On behalf of myself, Colson, Wes, Dave, Justin, thank you for joining us and enjoy the game. This is the 620 CKRM Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network.
It's fall, and Prairie Battery has what you need to get going for all your equipment and vehicle needs. Prairie Battery has some of the highest CCA options available, and high-end batteries like Odyssey AGMs if you're looking for something to really handle the Saskatchewan elements. Having problems with your car battery? They'll test it for free. They have maintainers and boosters as well to get you ready for winter. So, when you want to get going, see Prairie Battery, 646 Henderson Drive in Regina.
Fall means pumpkin spice, falling leaves, and slippery roads. When the temperature drops, so does your tire's grip. Enter Quality Tire. Don't wait for that first